As an analytics professional or a data scientist or an engineer, you'll encounter CSV files over and over again. Exactly like that. Another file format that's really common is the JSON file format, and Python has a built-in module to deal with this as well, the JSON module. The term JSON is often pronounced JSON, so you shouldn't be confused there. It stands for JavaScript Object Notation. JSON is very commonly used with web programming frameworks where you're writing your client code in JavaScript. So how does a JSON file look? Here is an example on screen of a string which is in JSON. This is the JSON data string. There are a couple of interesting things going on here. This contains information about one employee named Ashish. The information is entirely in one line. Notice how we have the curly braces which denotes one record. Within the curly brackets, we have a number of key value pairs. Name Ashish, age 39, city Delhi, and degree BE. Every key is a string, it's enclosed in quotes. Values can be strings, they can be numbers, they can also be more complex types like other JSON formats or even lists. Now, if this seems familiar to you, it should. The structure of a JSON file format is very similar to how you set up your Python dictionaries, the curly braces and the key value pairs within them. Every key is separated from the value using a colon, and every key value pair is separated from the next key value pair using a comma. I've assigned this JSON string to the JSON data variable. There's one last interesting thing to note here. There is a backslash after the equal to. Now, this tells the Python interpreter that whatever comes in the next line is a continuation of the current command, the current assignment command, where we are assigning this JSON string to the JSON data variable. If you want a single Python statement or Python command to span multiple lines because that makes it more readable, you'll use the backslash at the end of the line so that you can continue in the next line. The JSON module in Python allows us to parse JSON strings and convert them to Python dictionaries. And this is how we do it. Here, JSON.loads or JSON.loads parses the JSON data string and converts the key value pairs to dictionary entries. The resultant dictionary is stored in the details underscore dict variable. By using the type function, you can tell that details dict is of type dictionary, and you can print out the value of this dictionary as well. It'll contain all the information that you saw in the JSON data string, but this time as a Python dictionary. We now know how to parse a JSON string using the JSON module. How about when we have to deal with JSON files? Here we have a file called singleentity.json. This contains exactly one line of JSON, the same JSON string that we passed earlier, except that this line is now present in a file. We now want to read this JSON file and parse the employee information and create a list of employees. We open the file as before, exactly like we did with text files and CSV file. This file is opened in the read mode. We read exactly one line from this file and store it in the line variable. This line contains a JSON string, and we can parse this JSON string into a Python dictionary using the JSON.loads function. Employee is the Python dictionary, and we append this to the employees list. Employees is a list of Python dictionaries. As of now, it contains exactly one employee's details within it, the details for Ashish. It's also possible to work with JSON files which have multiple employee records. Here, every record is in JSON format and every record is present in one line of the file. Here we have three employees, Deb, Abhay, and Vijay. Every employee record is enclosed in the curly braces of JSON, and the details for each employee is on a separate line in the file. Let's read and parse this JSON file and store the resultant employee details in the employees list. We open the file as before using the file handle and read in all the lines using the read lines command on the file handle. Every line in this file, which has been read in as a string, contains JSON data, and we can parse this by calling json.loads. We store the resultant dictionary in the employee variable and append this to a list. We now have all employee details in the form of a list of dictionaries. So far, we've seen how to read in JSON files and parse a JSON string into a Python dictionary. The reverse is possible as well. You can have a Python dictionary and you can write it out as a string to a JSON file. Here are the details for a new employee Nisarg. This is a Python dictionary that we have available in our code. The first step before writing this out to a file is to convert this Python dictionary to a JSON string format, which we can do by calling the json.dumps method. This simply converts the Python dictionary to a line, which is a JSON string. You can print out the value of line and see that it is indeed a JSON string. Once we have the Python dictionary in string format, writing out a string to a file is an operation that we are familiar with. We'll open up the list of entities.json in append mode so that we can append this record to the very end. We'll use the f.write function to write out the single line with a \n at the end. This will add a new line to the end of the line that we just wrote out. Now, if you examine the contents of the file, you'll find that the new employee Nisarg's record has been added to the very end of this file. This employee's record is also in the JSON format.